Alright, I finally finished my She-Ra video. What did my wonderful viewers choose for the next marathon? Huh? Flintstones? Really? Okay. Welcome to the Critique ReBooted, where we take a look at franchises that will never die and determine whether we should tune in or tune out of their many series. I'm Song, your resident cartoon connoisseur, and this is the Flintstones. The Flintstones is an animated program created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. They had been making cartoons together for quite a while by this point, but nothing was reaching the mass appeal of Tom and Jerry, their most popular show at the time. However, even though Tom and Jerry was loved by kids and adults alike, it was still widely considered kids stuff. Sound familiar? And thus, Hanna-Barbera set out to make a cartoon that would appeal to adults, and what do adults like? Sitcoms, it's science. They set their situational comedy in the Stone Ages for satire and called it the Flagstones, until they called it the Flintstones. The show ran from September 30th, 1960 to April 1st, 1966 on ABC as the very first animated series to ever hold a primetime spot on television. But that was so long ago. How does the show hold up now? Let's find out. You know what surprised me? The famous Flintstones theme song does not actually show up until the third episode of the third season. Leading up to that, we instead get an instrumental track called Rise and Shine, which I think accompanies the visuals just as well. In both intros, you see Fred Flintstone on his commute home from work, running a few errands, reaching his couch to watch some TV. It all sells the slice of life vibe, and as a side note seems very familiar. I guess I found the influence for a certain other animated sitcom. Personally, I enjoy how the ending sequence works with the intro to bookend the episodes, with the first sequence showing Fred going to bed after watching TV, and the second showing the Flintstone family driving home from the drive-in theater. It makes the episode feel like a story within a story, in a way. Since this show is a sitcom as opposed to something like a drama, it relies entirely on formula. Fred Flintstone is a hard worker at the bedrock quarry, and every day he comes home to his wife Wilma and hangs out with his next door neighbor Barney Rubble and his wife Betty. Together, they all just kind of exist. Yeah. The program uses the characters and the way they react to any given real-life situation to drive it forward, which is how the drama presents its relatability. I think the thing that sells this premise the most is the Stone Age setting. It is interesting to see these modern scenarios play out in an imagining of the caveman era. It does its part to keep the content timeless, at least mostly. The show's main cast is as follows. You have Fred Flintstone, ambitious man with a love of bowling, and Barney Rubble, his best friend with a heart of gold. Now, I have one very big issue, and his name is Fred. It is my opinion that Fred Flintstone is just a horrible person. The way he treats the people around him is disgustingly rude, and he is only kind to people when he sees a way to exploit them for money. Honestly, poor Barney deserves way better than that and is totally justified in stealing his neighbor's Fruity Pebbles. Now, I won't say he's all bad. You can tell that he cares very much about the members of his own family, such as his wife Wilma. He just has a real funny way of showing it, especially when the show always shows how lovingly Barney treats his own wife Betty. Speaking of which, I very much enjoyed the dynamic between the wives. Wilma and Betty were very mischievous, and it was extremely amusing to see them mess with their husbands quite often, especially Wilma, who always found a way to get back at Fred for whatever trouble his actions caused. Even though I could not quite relate to all of them, every character, even Fred, made me laugh and sometimes sympathize, and I think that is something to strive for in a show. The Flintstones is a 2D traditionally drawn program. Animation-wise, you could tell it's, old, obviously, but I think it still holds up pretty well today. One thing that animated sitcoms have over the live-action ones is the wacky violence and over-the-top slapstick. Hanna-Barbera had already mastered the simple concept of squash and stretch, and though this show is not as exaggerated as the likes of Looney Tunes or even Tom and Jerry, that's not really the point. The Flintstones aims to present adults with some Stone Age spoofs of various real-life situations rather than relying on cartoon slapstick. Said slapstick is instead there as a seasoning to add flavor that doesn't work in a live-action program. That said, something that's brought over from live-action sitcoms is the laugh track, and it's always there.
Let's go!
Even if a joke is just a minor chuckle, you will hear the chuckle. And I don't know, it was there. It was fine. It wasn't too distracting, but it was there. Anyway, character designs are great and distinct from each other, though I cannot help but notice that there are only 2 clear body types. I'm no expert, and I think that's just how it was back in the early days of animation, I don't know, but I do find it interesting. The writing is relatable and gave me a few laughs every episode, which was definitely nice. I can tell that adults would definitely understand these situations more than any children would, so Hanna-Barbera's goal was achieved in that regard. Overall, The Flintstones is a timeless program that was very amusing, but for me, it was nothing really more than that. That's not the show's fault though, I'm just not a sitcom person. I find them enjoyable, but I generally wouldn't go out of my way to watch them. That said, the historical importance of the show cannot be ignored, and I can see how it became such a cultural phenomenon that will go on forever. It would be a crime not to give this one a shot as a fan of animation. For these reasons, I recommend tuning in to The Flintstones. But hey, that's just me. What did you think about the show? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you made it this far into the video, you might as well subscribe and like if you enjoyed. If you would like to continue the conversation, please follow me on Twitter or join the Discord. Links are in the description below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have more Flintstones to watch, so thanks for watching.